Hey, English learners! Welcome back to the Nemo English Podcast, your cozy little place to learn easy English through real, everyday conversations.
Yes, welcome back, everyone. I hope you're feeling relaxed today. Maybe you've got a cup of coffee, or you're just taking a quiet walk.
Or maybe you're lying on your bed listening to us instead of doing your homework.
Alice, don't encourage that.
Hey, I'm just being honest. We've all been there.
That's true. And actually, that connects perfectly to today's topic.
Exactly. Today we're going to talk about something that everyone thinks about, but not everyone feels confident talking about in English.
Yes, today's topic is your future plans.
Ooh, the future. Sounds exciting and a little scary at the same time.
Very true. And let me start with a small confession.
Oh no, this sounds interesting already.
When I was younger, I had a perfect plan for my future.
Really? Let me guess. You wanted to be rich, famous, and travel the world.
Exactly. I had this clear image in my head. By 25, I would have a great job, my own apartment, maybe even a car.
And let me guess again, reality didn't go exactly like that?
Not even close.
Same here. I remember I once said, in 5 years, I will have everything figured out.
And now?
Now I have more questions than answers.
That's actually very real, and I think many of our listeners feel the same way.
Yes, so today we're not just going to teach you how to talk about your future in English, we're also going to talk about the feelings behind it.
Because talking about the future is not just about grammar, like I will or I'm going to.
It's about your dreams, your fears, your identity, who you want to become.
Exactly.
And before we start, just a quick reminder.
You don't need to understand every single word.
Yes, just relax
Let the English flow.
and let it grow naturally.
Perfect. So, are you ready to talk about the future?
Let's do it. Okay, David, let me ask you a simple question.
I'm ready.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ah, the classic question.
Yes, the question everyone asks in job interviews, and everyone secretly fears.
Exactly. And to be honest, I used to hate this question
Why?
because I felt like I needed to have a perfect answer.
Like you had to sound confident and successful?
Yes, like, in 5 years, I will be a manager, leading a team, earning a high salary,
Oh, that sounds very professional.
but also very fake.
That's such a good point.
Now, if you ask me that question, my answer's more honest.
Okay, let's hear it.
In 5 years, I hope I'm doing something meaningful, something I enjoy, maybe still learning, still growing.
I like that. It feels more human.
Yeah, I think as we grow older, our idea of the future becomes less about perfect plans and more about direction.
That's powerful. Not a perfect plan, but a direction.
Exactly. What about you, Alice?
Can I start with a slightly uncomfortable truth?
Of course.
Sometimes I feel lost when I think about the future.
That's very honest.
Because there are so many choices, so many paths, and I keep thinking, what if I choose the wrong one?
Ah, that fear. I know that feeling very well.
It's like standing at a crossroads and not knowing which way to go.
Yes, but here's something I've learned.
Tell me.
There's no such thing as a perfect path.
Hmm,
Every path teaches you something, even the wrong ones.
that's comforting. So even mistakes are part of the journey.
Exactly. Sometimes you need to get lost to find where you really belong.
Wow, that sounds like something from a movie.
Maybe, but it's true.
You know, when I talk about my future in English, I usually say things like, I'm going to improve my skills, or I want to travel.
That's great. Those are very natural sentences.
But sometimes I feel like my English becomes too simple.
That's okay. Simple doesn't mean bad.
Really?
Yes, actually, simple English is often more natural.
That's good to hear.
For example, instead of saying, I aspire to achieve professional excellence, you can just say,
I want to get better at my job.
exactly, much more natural.
So when we talk about the future, we can use simple patterns like,
I'm going to.
I plan to.
I hope to.
I'd like to.
Perfect. And you can also talk about uncertainty.
Oh yes, that's important.
Because in real life, we're not always 100% sure.
Right, so we can say things like, I might,
Or, I'm not sure yet, but
or I'm still figuring it out.
that one is very natural.
I'm still figuring it out. I like that.
Let's try a small example.
Okay.
Imagine someone asks you, what are your plans for the future?
I could say, I'm not completely sure yet, but I'm thinking about improving my English and maybe working abroad.
That's perfect. Very natural, very real.
And no pressure to sound perfect.
Exactly.
You know what I've noticed?
What?
When people talk about their future, they often talk about big goals like careers or money.
That's true.
But rarely do they talk about small things like daily habits.
That's such a good point.
For example, instead of saying, I want to be successful, you could say,
I want to wake up earlier.
or I want to read more books.
Or I'm going to practice English every day.
Exactly. These small plans are actually very powerful.
Because they are realistic.
Yes, and they build your future step by step.
You don't suddenly become successful one day.
You build it little by little.
I like that idea.
Me too. All right. Welcome back, everyone.
This is one of my favorite parts of the episode.
Same here. It's time for our word tour.
Yes, this is where we slow things down
Take a deep breath.
and look at some useful words and expressions from today's conversation.
Don't worry, we'll explain everything clearly.
And we'll give you examples you can actually use in real life.
Exactly. And remember,
You don't need to memorize everything.
just listen, repeat, and let it sink in naturally.
Perfect. Let's begin with our first expression.
Our first phrase is, figure something out.
Figure something out.
This means to find an answer or solve a problem.
Or sometimes it simply means to understand something clearly after thinking about it.
Yes. For example, earlier we said, I'm still figuring it out.
That means you don't have a clear answer yet.
Let's give another example.
Okay, I couldn't figure out how to use this app.
Nice. Or she is trying to figure out what she wants to do in the future.
Very useful, especially when talking about plans.
All right, let's repeat together. Figure something out.
Next word, crossroads.
Crossroads.
Literally, a crossroads is where two roads meet.
But in life, it means a point where you need to make an important decision.
Yes, a moment where you choose between different directions.
For example, I feel like I'm at a crossroads in my career.
That means you need to decide what to do next.
Another example, after graduating, many students find themselves at a crossroads.
Very common situation.
Let's repeat it. Crossroads. Next phrase, work out.
Work out.
Now this one has many meanings,
Yes, it can mean exercise.
but in today's context, it means to end successfully or to be okay in the end.
For example, don't worry, everything will work out.
That's a very comforting sentence,
Another example, things didn't work out as I planned.
which is also very real.
Life doesn't always follow our plans.
But that's okay.
Let's repeat.
Work out. Work out.
Next phrase, plan ahead.
Plan ahead.
This means to think about the future and prepare for it in advance.
For example, I like to plan ahead before I travel.
Or, if you want to succeed, you need to plan ahead.
But here's something important.
You can plan ahead,
But life can still surprise you.
always.
Next expression, end up.
End up.
This means the final result of a situation, often something unexpected.
Yes, especially when the result is different from what you planned.
For example, I planned to study engineering, but I ended up studying art.
That's a great example.
Or we got lost and ended up in a small village.
Sounds like a story.
Maybe a future podcast episode.
Maybe.
Repeat after us. End up. End up.
Next phrase, little by little.
Little by little.
This means gradually, step by step, not all at once.
Very important idea for learning English.
Yes, for example, you will improve little by little.
Or she saved money little by little until she could travel.
It's about patience.
And consistency.
Exactly.
Let's repeat. Little by little.
Little by little.
Next phrase, keep going.
Keep going.
This means continue even when things are difficult.
It's a very motivational phrase.
For example, learning English is hard, but keep going.
Or, he was tired, but he kept going.
I love this one.
Me too. Simple but powerful.
Repeat together. Keep going. Keep going.
Next phrase, make a decision.
Make a decision.
This means to choose between options.
For example, I need to make a decision about my future.
Or it's hard to make a decision when you have many choices.
Very relatable.
Yes, especially at those crossroads moments we talked about.
Nice connection. Let's repeat. Make a decision. Make a decision. Next expression, dream big.
Dream big.
This means to have big goals or ambitions.
To imagine a big, exciting future.
For example, don't be afraid to dream big.
Or, when I was young, I dreamed big.
But here's something important.
Dream big.
But also take small steps.
Exactly. Balance is key.
Let's repeat. Dream big. Dream big.
Our last expression, stay on track.
Stay on track.
This means to continue following your plan or goal.
Without getting distracted.
For example, I need to stay on track with my studies.
Or, it's hard to stay on track when you feel tired.
Very true.
But small habits can help you stay on track.
Yes, like practicing English every day.
Wow, that was such a meaningful episode.
It really was. I feel like we didn't just talk about English today.
We talked about life.
Exactly. And honestly, I love episodes like this.
Me too. It feels more real.
Yeah, not just grammar and vocabulary.
But emotions, thoughts, and the little questions we all carry inside.
Like, where am I going? What do I really want? Am I doing the right thing?
Those quiet questions we don't always say out loud.
But we all feel them.
Before we finish today, I want to share a small idea.
Yes, let's give them something practical.
Take just 2 minutes.
And ask yourself, what is one small thing I want to do for my future?
Not a big dream. Just one small action.
Because your future is not built in one day.
It's built in small moments.
Small choices.
Small habits.
So if you're listening right now,
This is your sign.
speak a little today,
Even if it's just one sentence.
even if you make mistakes.
Especially if you make mistakes.
All right, before we go, we have a small favor to ask.
If you enjoyed this episode,
Don't forget to subscribe
like the video.
and share it with a friend.
Tell us in the comments.
What is one small plan you have for your future?
So until next time.
Take care of your English.
And take care of your future.
This is Alice,
And this is David.
and you've been listening to the Nemo English Podcast.
Bye.
See you next time.